play devil's advocate real quick. A lot of people say, and I saw some response to the to your comments last week, which I agree with wholeheartedly, by the way. But I did see some comments saying, "Well, what is Booker T? What can he really say about being bullied? Now he's 6'3", 250 pounds, professional athlete. He could take care of himself. Some guys, and like we talked about with Mauro Ranallo, this guy." He's a smaller guy. He's an announcer. He's not a professional athlete.
Well, that's the thing. You know what I mean? When you're in, junior high school, let's say elementary school, you know what? We got to take a little quick break. And I'm going to answer that on the flip side because the answer is just too complicated. This heated conversation, y'all. Back in a minute. People saying, hey, what do Booker T got to worry about as far as bullying go? I mean, he's, 6'3", he's 38 pounds of.
I didn't mean to put that extra 12 on you.
Well, I'm just saying that was.
I didn't mean that was my fault.
that was my wrestling weight.
Okay.
But he's 6'3", 238 pounds of romping, stomping, grave digging destruction. Yes, I understand.
You're aware.
Yeah, I'm aware that I'm a big, guy and, perhaps intimidating in certain aspects. And that's the question. That's the question. Elementary school, junior high school. Let's just even perhaps say college. Let's take it to 21. All right, 21, 22. Let's take it to 22. Okay, that's my point. When you go through life, you gain life experiences, and I think as you learn how to deal with certain things, through life, it prepares you for, what's to come. Just like we were just, discussing, my son and daughter having a conversation at 6 years old when my son's trying to explain to her, look, if we just share, we can get to, our destination.
Yeah.
That's an experience that they're going to, capitalize on as they get older. And for me, like I say, my first bullying experience, it taught me something in elementary school. It taught me that, hey, don't let people push you around. Otherwise, they're going to continue to push you around. If you let someone take your sandwiches from you, they're going to keep taking your sandwiches from you. That's just like in life, if you and another person work at the job, if you're doing the job and he's taking the credit for it, and he's getting the check for it, and you keep your mouth shut, is that bullying? Is it? Yeah, and that's the thing right there. It seemed like by the time you got to that point, your life experience would tell you, hey, if I'm doing the job, I should be getting paid the check for it, not you. And I'm going to speak up to get my check. I don't think that's bullying. That's where I feel like perhaps maybe there should be a cutoff point as far as us calling it bullying. Let's take the Be a Star for the campaign for a second.
Well, once again, to play devil's advocate, some people said that as well. Like, hey, you have this program, don't be a bully, be a star. And that should apply to.
Well, but I don't see Be a Star going into any all companies and talking to people like that. Be a Star going into and talking to young people about how to handle bullying, how to prepare yourself for becoming a young adult, how to not be a follower and be a leader, and not let something like this happen to you. Just say, for instance, if someone's touching you the wrong way. I teach my kids to speak up if someone's doing something like that. These are your private parts. Don't let anyone touch them. You know what I mean? So that's something that's a life experience that
they carry that with them
for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
They know that this is wrong, opposed to, not knowing. We know, like my mother said when I was a kid coming up, Junior, right from wrong. There's no gray area as far as right and wrong go. And that's something that I think we all know. So taking a situation as far as bullying go, I just think the term should, maybe, be changed, after we get to a certain age, perhaps. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, okay, so let me ask you this. What is it called when you're an adult? You're somewhere between, let's say, 23 and 70.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, because people work to 70 now.
Yeah.
So you're between 23 and 70. You're in the workplace, and somebody's, maybe her,
Eddie Haskell.
being an Eddie
And
Haskell.
you got an Eddie Haskell somewhere. They want to just cause some trouble.
And they just won't leave
They
Beaver alone.
They want to prank you.
They
want to play games.
They want to play games.
They want to jab you.
And in wrestling they want to what is it? Put glue on the inside of your boots.
Exactly. Yeah.
They want to put a padlock on your bag.
Yeah.
Right? And they're messing with you. What do you call that? Is that bullying? Is that ribbing? Is that hazing? Is that trying to see if you pass the smell test? Like, what is it? If it's not bullying, what is it?
Me personally, I honestly, this just me. Heated Conversation Sports Radio 610. This just me. I don't think there's a whole lot of bullying going on in the workplace. That's just me. I don't think so. I don't think people are on the job pushing someone when they walk by. Get out of my way. You know what I mean? I don't think at lunchtime, your fellow worker is saying, "Hey man, what you got in the bag?" You know what I mean?
Give you your lunch money.
Give it up. You know what I mean? I honestly don't think it's what. I'm serious.
I did that just last week. I feel bad now. Oh man.
I did see Josh in there. I think he stole somebody's pizza. He was eating a whole pizza in there.
If it was a Blaze pizza, I can see that happening.
Oh, you like Blaze?
Blaze
is good. I went there for the first time last week. It's good. I really like it.
But I don't see. I don't feel like there's a whole lot of bull. We got a couple of callers on the line. Who we got?
We do. Let's go to. Let's see. Let's go to Nathan in Minneapolis. He wants to talk about defending bullies, and does that make you a bully? I think.
Let's get him on. Let's get him
on. Nathan from Minneapolis, you're on live with Booker T.
Hey, Booker. Nathan with the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. How you doing?
What's going on, man? Talk to me.
Not too much. Thanks for taking my call. My question, I want to ask you about the comments that Alberto El Patron made in regards to the situation regarding John Bradshaw Layfield. It's very clear that El Patron made some disparaging comments, whether it was in an interview or on Periscope, and a few of them were regarding specific people currently signed to the WWE. So my question is, if El Patron had nothing but good things to say about JBL, is it possible that these allegations and the talk around JBL may be overblown? Is it a possibility that maybe some of this doesn't have a lot of evidence to go off of, and not necessarily defending or trying to, indict anyone, but is it a possibility that given someone as outspoken and as someone who has had as many strong comments as El Patron has said, is it possible that, some of this may be more hearsay than things that are based in solid evidence?
Hey, I appreciate your question. My thing is this. As far as JBL, being a guy that's been a prankster for many, many years, I've been on the road with JBL, and I could give you one instance. One guy was supposed to been, serving a beer. We got a thing we call ribbing, and we got a thing where we take you to wrestler's court. If you go to wrestler's court and you get convicted, you might be subjected to, buying the beer or serving a beer or something. But it's a thing where, we have stories to talk about for many, many years to come.
And it's all in good fun.
And it's all in good fun. And the guy didn't like it. He left the tour, and he's like, I don't want to be a part of that. And I understand that. I've seen, one guy, was it Joey Styles or somebody that hit, JBL in the nose and knocked him out, because JBL was, gagging him and messing with him. That kind of stuff happens. It's been many, many instances, but JBL, a guy that I've known since 1991. JBL, the guy that I went on my first tour with. JBL, the guy that I tag team against Wong Bong against in Korea. We're going to talk about it in a minute. Heated conversation. When should it stop? When should the term, the phrase be changed, and at what point in times in our lives? That's a question right now. We're talking about, comments that was made on the behalf of JBL, obviously. And the thing is, I agree. I've known JBL for more than 20 years. We go a long way back. I'm a guy from the streets, from the hood. He's a guy, college, educated, cowboy. you know, um,
A little bit of a redneck.
and rough, man, and rough and ragged, man. He's one of those guys that just party. He'll party all night. He'll party with the best of them. He'll drink you under the table. That's what JBL's all about. He's that type of guy. But is JBL, a bad guy? By no means. We've all been, ribbed in the business. We all have been, run through the ringer. We've all been tested. In some way, shape, form, or fashion. JBL has, tested just about everyone who's came in that locker room. If you hear stories, you know what? The one person I think would be able to clarify or determine, bullying would be the Miz. If the Miz came out and told some stories about JBL and himself. He would, put weight behind something. But
I think the Miz is a guy who was able to take all that on the chin, and it made him into the performer that he is
today. The Miz
today.
knew it was about being one of the boys.
Yeah.
It was about being
Proving yourself.
Exactly, and you know what I mean. The Miz used to, dress in the hallways. He couldn't even dress in the locker room with the guys. He got ribbed on a regular basis, but it was just like being a rookie. I'm sure the rookie in football gets the same thing. I'm sure the rookie in basketball, hockey. Can you imagine Wayne Gretzky walking in, the locker room in a pro NHL league and thinking he's going to get special treatment? No, they're going to treat you. They're going to tell you, no, look, it's something called a young boy in Japan. These are young guys that work in the dojos, and they pretty much, do all the work. Sumo wrestlers they get treated like gods by the young boys. The young boy one day is going to grow up to be a sumo, but he have to have the respect and know exactly what it means. To be a grandmaster when he get to that point. It's not something that's just given to you. It's something that's earned. And I think that's the point that we're missing here with the point as far as JBL being, this or that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's earned. Your spot is earned. Respect is earned. And, I found it interesting whenever, and we were talking about this a minute ago, but whenever I saw today that they announced that Mauro Ranallo and the WWE are parting ways.
Yeah.
And Mauro said nothing about JBL in his statement. And in the article, the exclusive Newsweek article, the only person that was cited, there were two people that were cited when it came to the allegations of bullying. One was Justin Roberts, who you spoke about last week, and the other one was Dave Meltzer. And that's where this public, national publication was getting their information from.
Well,
was Dave Meltzer, who doesn't work there.
That's what people read into what's going on the show. I mean, they watched the show. I mean, it was obviously some show that, they was doing, and JBL ribbed, Mauro on the show. And it was a scripted show, the show. And that's where it was pretty much taken out of context as far as somebody being bullied. And that's why people need to get the facts. People need to get their story straight, first and foremost. Because, JBL, God forbid, could have lost his job over something that was nothing, that was just totally created. And, like the fans taking over the show as far as, with the hashtag chant, whatnot. That kind of stuff definitely don't need to be seen or be heard or had in our sport.
But how much of it do you think is, and, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but how much of it do you think is perpetrated by the wrestling media, the dirt sheets? They just hear a rumor, right? And then they print it as fact. And then now you have people chanting "Fire JBL."
Exactly. Like you say, they print it as fact, but that's the news these days. That's the fake news that we've heard about so many times, and I think something needs to be done about it.
But are they largely to blame for this story growing so?
Well, I would say so. I would say they're to blame for it because in their defense, it's good. It's good news. You know, I mean, it's ratings. It's
Get subscribers,
exactly,
gets
yeah,
readers,
exactly.
gets
You know,
ad dollars.
exactly. You know, so for them, it's great. Anytime you can have a story, especially a controversial story, I'm going. It's good for you. It's like any publicity is good publicity.
Well, you know,
That's exactly
there's the saying in the news business: if it bleeds, it leads.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm serious. Carnage, baby.
Yeah.
We wanted carnage. You know, but I tell you, as far as the split goes, my thing is this: Mauro Ranallo is a guy that's, you know, he's international, man. I'm talking about his frequent flyer miles. You know, I'm sure million miler. I'm talking about, global services. I'm serious. Boxing, MMA, as well as WWE. That's a load right there, bro. That's a plate right there. That's filled. We talked about Showtime Boxing. I'm sure, if Ranallo's not back, he will be back on Showtime Boxing pretty soon. And then calling, the legacy fights. You know what I mean? Over in Japan, doing that, and then make that flight back, for SmackDown on a weekly basis. I'm gonna tell you right now, that right there can run you ragged. I always say that the brain could take the body so much further than you can actually go. Your brain could actually will you to make it, around that next curve. I'm gonna tell you. I mean, it's strange. It's strange. I mean, you could literally be dead tired, but it's like you're the walking dead. It's like you're a doctor with your stethoscope on, and it's a 24/7 thing, bro. And you ready to, to be on call. And that right there is it's a monster. And for Ranallo to actually take on all those duties, it had to be stressful. It had to be a strain for him. And me personally, I think that was probably more of a problem than anything, trying to actually handle that schedule. People hadn't looked at it that way.
Yeah. No, I think, you know better than anybody that it's a demanding schedule. And this is probably, if the rumors were true, right, and Maro was just felt unhappy there, right, boom, this is a great solution for him. Not be there. And if those rumors weren't true, and it was just getting to him, like you said, and he felt that it was maybe he wanted to do other things and not be committed to that weekly schedule, then once again, it's the best thing for all parties. And I think Mauro Ranallo is a hell of a talent. I think he's a great talent on the mic. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, I know, but I think for boxing, MMA, the guy's real good at what he does. So I think I wish him nothing but the best. I think it's a good move for him.
I don't think it's a bad move or anything like that. Mauro has been in the game for a long time. I was talking to Mauro. We went all the way back to PKA, kickboxing, back in the 80s. So Mauro's been around a long time. He knows the game. He's well-loved in the sport of MMA boxing for sure. And like I say, I'm sure we're going to be seeing Mauro do his thing real soon. And the best of luck to Mauro Ranallo. Like I said, I like him, and I don't have too many people that I could talk boxing with. In the job, it's very few people that I could actually sit down and, actually have an intelligent conversation about, boxers all the way back, to, Jack Johnson all the way up till today. Mauro's a guy that's like an encyclopedia or something like that. So definitely I'll miss him. But, the split, I'm sure he got a, pretty good check probably up.
Yeah, maybe something.
Hey, man, Bill O'Reilly got $25 million.
$25 million. Yeah, pretty good. You said, though, real quick before we go to break, you said that Charmel told you something about the bullying thing that made you change your mind. I just wanted to ask you what that was.
No, she was just telling me, people do still have that mentality to be, immature at 30 years old and still could act like, and push people around and treat people a certain way. And especially if you got power, if you're the boss, you can bully someone when you're the boss because you got their job holding over their head. It's like dangling a carrot. So you could tend to bully someone, and even though in certain situations you can go to human resources and go to a higher up and have something done, but you tend to be a little bit more frightened when you're in that position. Just say, for instance, a mother, that's got a kid and she needs that job to, make sure the food is on the table because, daddy is not around. And, the boss might be bullying her. The boss might be, spanking her on the behind or something when she walks by or something. And she doesn't say anything about it because she needs that paycheck. So therefore, I do understand, what my wife was talking about. And I had to, totally take a step back and look at it from, a certain perspective, opposed to just, when you get past 18, bullying should stop, because when you're in that kind of a situation, it's something totally different, and we have to have an open mind about it. And that's, I think so too.
Yeah. I mean, I think that also borders on just. It's not only think that's bullying. That's just harassment.
It is, but it falls under the umbrella.
I wonder. I think we have time. When we were talking about this whole bullying thing, right? I think that everyone in their life, when they're a man or a woman, right, at any certain time of their life. Now, I'm not a woman. You're not a woman, so I can only speak from a male's perspective, right? We're all given an opportunity to either say, I'm going to be treated like a rug and let everyone walk over me, or I'm going to stand up for myself. And I think the perfect example was if I'm out with my girlfriend, or if you're out with your wife, and someone makes a snide remark, a comment about her appearance that I'm not a fan of, like, oh, look at that, or maybe extends a hand to try to touch something they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to say, well, you know what, I'm just gonna let him do that, or am I gonna say, wait a minute, man,
hold up, homie,
you made a bad mistake. You know what I mean? I might be 175. That doesn't mean I can't get live on you right now, all right?
Yeah.
I have the great equalizer in my truck called my baseball bat. You know what I mean? We can always take it there. But but there's an opportunity. I have the opportunity. Am I going to stand up for myself and show people, hey, don't mess with me when it comes to certain things? Or am I going to let myself be a rug? And that's all we get. We all get that opportunity. We all get to prove ourselves either which one we're going to be. We're going to be A or we're going to to be.
I tell you, Ox Baker, former professional wrestler, definitely, Hall of Famer in my eyes, a legend in the business. He was the first guy who gave me really, really, really good advice when I got in the business. And he told me, he said, kid, you got a lot of talent. He said, you can make a whole lot of money in this business. And that's true. And he said, but you're going to come up against a whole lot of obstacles. He said, now, you're going to have to figure out a way to go over that obstacle, around that obstacle, under that obstacle. He said, but sometimes, kid, you have to go straight through that obstacle. And that lesson right there, it told me, I can't sit back and expect for this thing to happen for me. I got to make it happen. I got to go out there and do my part if I'm going to achieve greatness. This heated conversation. Back in a minute.